Howdy guys, I'm Afolo8, your favorite wolf girl enthusiast, and welcome to Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones, Fanged. Yes, of course, as your favorite wolf girl enthusiast, I had to coin a very proper and fitting term for this style of play. To convey that your game is going to be giving you some bite when you're playing Fire Emblem Fanged. Now what does that mean exactly? Of course, we needed a new term for this, something a little bit less unwieldy as compared to things I've used in the past. When you're playing Fire Emblem Fanged, you're playing with increased growths and increased crit on all the weapons. That's the play that we're going to go with. And, you know, of course, if you know my channel, you've seen some of my gameplay before, you know that I like to play this way. I think it's a very fun way to play, so that's why I wanted to coin a proper, easy term so that more people can potentially take it and use it, and so on and so forth, and play that way for themselves. I find it to be very enjoyable. And plus, it fits pretty nicely with other stuff. If you're playing a Fanged Randomizer or a Fanged Ironman, you've increased the growths, you've increased the crit. Very nice, very easy, that's what I'm hoping anyway. You let your favorite streamer or whoever know. If you're playing Fanged, you're increasing the growths and you're increasing the crit and all that. Whatever, aside from the point. It is a brand new year, and that means a brand new year of Afolo content. Yes, indeed, I'm going to be trying my very best to be indulging in something of the sort. And that's all going to start with this particular run. Like I said, increased crit on all the weapons is the primary standout feature. If something had crit rate before, it has been increased by 10, so killing edges, for example, now have 40. And if it didn't have crit before, it's now up to 10. Every single Iron Axe, every single weapon in the game, regardless of what it is, has an additional 10% crit. And as you're going to see, this guy's level 1, but this guy over here is level 2. So you're going to be seeing these growth rates kick into effect very quickly on our enemies. I have a very structured way of playing this one. This is my favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. I could have randomized, I could have made it an Iron Man, but I really didn't want to do that. I just wanted to play it and enjoy the game again with a much stricter, harder rule set. So essentially, what we're going to be doing here, I guess I'll save a little bit of the surprise for later, but more or less what I mean by structured is that I've already got my team figured out in a sense. And that leads me directly into our question of the day, which we can watch as Seth pretty much directly conveys how this run is different. Keep in mind he has very high luck, so he's not going to be facing crit as well. But the question of the day is, who do you think will be part of my final roster? I already have it planned. I've got a spreadsheet over here on my other monitor with all of my supports planned, everything like that. Ready to go. Like I said, it's not an Iron Man, so I will be resetting for deaths if I feel like it. I'll be playing in a sort of convenience method. I'll be resetting for deaths if I feel that they're big ones that I should reset for. And for the most part, they probably will be, just because, like I said, I've already got a spreadsheet, I know who I'm using, and I want you to try to predict who I'm using. Feel free to go ahead and guess on any number of details, whether it be promotions or pathways or who I'm supporting with who. Who do you think I'm going to be bringing to the end of the game with me? That's going to be a very interesting question. I think most of you are going to know a good few characters, especially if you've watched my content before, you've enjoyed my particular mannerisms towards particular characters. I'm very fascinated to see if anybody can predict some of the more interesting ones, though. So please do let me know what you think. All that aside, like I said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year indeed. It's a brand new year. Chapter 1. Pretty easy to get into this one. Chapter 1, one new year, one new day, whatever the case may be. I'm going to be trying something this year. I'm going to be trying to upload daily content. That's my New Year's resolution. That's what we're going to be getting into. So I'm going to go ahead and state it now here in this first episode of this particular playthrough. That means that you're going to be able to enjoy this particular playthrough right here almost in its entirety as it comes out. Those of you that are channel members, do feel free to if you haven't become one already. Actually, those of you who are channel members, as of the time of this video going up, have just been blessed with like 7 or 8 new episodes, depending on how things turn out. Because I had a bunch of episodes of Dream of 5 in the back, which is the other series that's going to be coming back. One thing really quickly here. As you can see with the additional crit rate, Franz could literally just die right here. So bear in mind that even your best units, I haven't enabled this, by the way, for my own personal sake, but as you can see, your very best units immediately face death potential. We'll go ahead and throw them into this and see what happens. But all that aside, like I was saying, gonna be trying my best, uploading daily content. That's what we're gonna be doing for this entire next year. We're gonna make this the year of the Afolo. Let's blow this one up. Make it a great deal of fun. Have something new to do every single day. So here's how we're going to be doing all of this. Erica gets that sword, Seth gets this lance, going to put him down here, and trade over this one to Franz. Now, like I said, I'm very interested to see who you guys think I'm going to be bringing to the rest of the game. There are some characters that I'm very partial to, some that I want to see go very far, some that I've got some memes cooked up with. I'm going to be enjoying this playthrough. This is going to be my more chill one. We're going to be alternating episodes between, between this and Dream of 5 until one or the other gets finished. Plus, we're going to have our streams on Saturdays. Do make sure to check in for those. The streams, of course, are going to be the classic, at the moment, Iron Emblem Gaiden, but we're gonna keep playing a bunch of different games. Gonna enjoy our time. Have a very wonderful new year. And now that you've answered the question of the day, make sure to like the video if you haven't already, and let me know what you think of this particular style of playthrough. Do you think this is something you would play for yourself, or is this a little bit too hardcore? You gotta be really careful in the early game especially. It ain't no joke. One thing that's for sure, like I was saying earlier, this one really increases the, not so much requirement, but kind of hope or desire to have, how would you say, like, additional supports racked up and everything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he can attack to there, so we're gonna get out of here with Franz. Like I said, I've got some favorites, and you're gonna notice that pretty quickly and immediately. This one is gonna be seriously intense towards the middle and end of the game. Increased growths by 35% is 3% off of, well, okay, I'm quoting this off of the top of my head, so I take this with a grain of salt, because I did this research myself, personally, I think, and 38% increased growths would be the highest that you can go without having any risk of rollover of enemy stats. So, like I said, take that as you will. I believe that's the stat on that. It's been a while, so... like I said. But either way, I've increased them almost to their absolute limit, and I want to see if I can handle this, because it's been a while since I played this intense of an increased growth run. That's why we're going to be taking this one somewhat slow. We're going to be enjoying this one, is the way I'm going to put it. If I've got to do additional stuff to get stuff done, like grind out supports in the Tower of Valny, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to grind out a bunch of levels in the Tower of Valny, but I will grind out supports if I need to. I'll try to keep it contained to maps. Okay, I just gotta not get crit on low percent here, because she literally just dies. Gotta get Erica some levels in the early game. There is a chance we go Erica route, depending on the levels of one of the characters that we're gonna be getting. We're gonna be playing at least through Chapter 2, Chapter 2 in this episode. So you get a really solid, good taste of what this series is gonna be. But as you can see, well, these guys are level 1, so they're relatively easy to deal with, but, as you're going to be seeing, the enemies are going to get intense fast. And it's already a bad idea that I benched Franz the way that I have so quickly. Because he's very good. He's very, very strong. And there's a lot of things, especially if you pair him with Seth and Gilliam in the supports. He gets ridiculous very, very fast. He gains crit from a bunch of different types of supports. I mean, his own support is light, so it gives him some crit back. And the high crit run with high crit supports is a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite ways to play for a reason. You get to see a lot of jumping around and flashy animations and all that kind of stuff. Like I said though, it's not for the faint of heart. It can be a bit of an intense type of playthrough. Especially in the early game, you face a lot of potential for literally just dying to things. It's not necessarily balanced. It's just a fun way of playing. Now this would usually be the part where I sit here for a while and grind up Seth and Erica's supports, but I already have plans for their supports and they don't involve each other, which for me personally is actually a big rarity. I love to pair these two up. It's one of my favorite supports in the game, both story-wise and in terms of the benefits it gives. It's +3 attack and +3 defense, plus you get a little bit of everything else. I think it's 10 points in total of all of the other stats, or 7.5 of everything else. Seth got no luck over here. Well, he actually specifically has luck, but he has no hitting luck. I'm trying to give a bunch of the boss kills to Seth, because he does benefit from the experience a lot. And if I'm not going to be using Franz, then I need to rely on... Really, we're going to miss all these. Then I need to rely on Seth a little bit more than I usually would. Especially considering, like I said, the landscape of this run. It ain't no joke. I don't know how to say that properly enough. It ain't no joke. Once we get to about Chapter 10, and we start seeing the occasional promoted enemy, and then furthermore into like Chapter 13 or so, like sheesh, okay, some of these guys are really, really strong. I didn't take the cap off of enemy levels, because if I did, then they would literally just get... That's a cool level up, a little bit of defense. If I did take the cap off of enemy levels, instead of letting them auto-level to 10 and then promote, if they auto-leveled to 20 and then promoted, they would literally just start capping all their stats in the middle of the game. So that's why I haven't done that. Do feel free to, if you have the desire to play this way. I'm sure you'll have a great time figuring that much out. But it's very scary that way, so I've mostly maintained the normal experience. All that said, I do have something in particular done here in about 2 chapters that you're going to see in the next episode. I've prepared something, how would I put it, unique in a sense, something that I don't think I've ever seen done, something I've definitely never seen done. But you're going to enjoy what happens in chapter 3 when we get Coleman and Amy, because I've changed a couple of things in that particular map. That's the only map I've made any changes to in any way whatsoever. Otherwise, we're just enjoying the game as it comes. But as you're going to see here, I'll scroll through some of the enemies. As you're going to see, well, through their stats, they get very strong very fast. Already 9 strength and 7 speed. They're very, very good. The bosses are going to get pretty intense as well. There will be the odd circumstance where bosses are actually weaker than the enemies on their maps, but some of the bosses are going to get pretty intense of their own right. I think, for example, Kalak and Valter, they risk capping some stats. I'm pretty sure that Valter caps strength in almost every instance of this particular playthrough. And then, of course, high crit on a high crit weapon like a Killer Lance or, you know, even a spear, really. It gets pretty wild. It gets pretty wild indeed, and if anyone dies in the early game, I will be resetting, because this is going to come as absolutely no surprise, but I fully plan on using Garcia. He is my favorite Fire Emblem character of all time, so I will be using him. That's one point towards those of you who have already answered the question of the day, if you've selected Garcia as someone that I'm probably going to be bringing along. Okay, so there's that, and then take and drop Garcia. Mostly did it that way so I could have Ross a little bit back here. There are various ways to do this very first turn, and most of them are fun in some capacity. Light these things up, and then what we do is go down here and grab that for Seth. That way we've got options. I don't want to use too much Steel Sword in the early game, because it's a very, very good weapon that we're going to need quite a bit of. In a more typical Fire Emblem experience, you're probably not going to be... well, you're already at risk of getting doubled, in all honesty. You're not going to be at risk of being in danger for breaking your Steel Sword. But in this one, you gotta do what you gotta do. Seth is still really good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Fire Emblem engage in a classic strategy known as pick up Gilliam and let him sit here with Seth on the fort. I'm pretty sure that's a well-known strategy by this point, definitely. No cap. On God, as they say. We're gonna go ahead and heal up Garcia. I'll try not to use speed up too much, but I usually do fly through the animations of the healers at the very least. There's that. We really just kind of gotta hope at this point that we don't perish, as a matter of fact. So I guess I will go ahead and use Franz a little bit. He's a good, like, semi-tank in a sense. And then Vanessa needs to get down there pretty soon, because I do need to get that village. That pure water in that village is going to be borderline vital. Every bit of res you can get is very good. I got to get a little bit used to playing with some different things that I'm not as used to, because I've been, unfortunately, perhaps, playing other games recently. So, some quality of life features aren't here. I'm completely fine with it. I don't necessarily miss them or anything. Okay. We might actually get to see a Brigand Roar. It'd be quite scary for that to occur, of course. Rapier's pretty good. I don't want to use up too much of it. Like I was saying, there is a circumstance where we potentially go Erica route. It is not the typical circumstance that I usually go for. I do right now intend to go Ephraim route, but depending on certain things, certain factors and level ups, I will be going Erica route if things get bad enough. Okay, so the Archer's not too bad of a threat. I can hit this guy. Really hope that this hits. Okay, cool. That's a really good start. Keep the hand axe on Garcia so he can deal with the archer, and then I'll go ahead and let Seth run down here so I don't have to let Vanessa potentially get bopped for doing that. Now we can do... let's see. This got interesting, definitely. So how bad is this? I could bait this guy back and risk getting crit per usual. Wouldn't be the worst thing to kind of get him off my back for a turn. Or I could go right here with Erica. Is that... No, okay, we can go right here with Erica. Go ahead and buy another iron sword. Trust me, I'm not afraid to have a bunch of iron swords. They're gonna be good, guaranteed. Push her back up to full health, put Franz right here. Of course, we're really just hoping that we don't get crit right now. And then, of course, I will risk Vanessa's life to going right here. She should be the preferred target. I'm hoping that all of these guys can get their stuff done. It doesn't really matter if I heal Ross because he gets doubled by every single enemy on this map, I guess, except for specifically this guy, so maybe it could matter. And that one as well, but that one's inconsequential. I'll go ahead and heal him up. Vulneraries are pretty... The game's pretty easy going with Vulneraries. Okay, don't get crit here, please. Okay, thank you. Regardless of how much damage she actually deals, not getting crit there was the main feature of that particular thing. Either way, you can see that this gets very intense very fast. We're here in Chapter 2 and things are not guaranteed in any capacity. Like, it might potentially already be a bad idea to have done the classic strat of pick up Gilliam to slow Seth down. Seth is by no means required for this type of playthrough. I have tested in the past. It's not required. It's just very nice, essentially, to have Seth. He's very good. Shocker there, I know. I'm going to go ahead and let Seth have both of these two. So I'm going to go ahead and get this village and then put him down here so that he gets the experience off of both of them. Like I said, I really want to focus boss kills into him for a little while. Can't really go wrong that way. Okay, so Erica didn't get hit first of all, which is great news. We can start with getting this kill because she does double. Don't get 22-6 killed. Thank you. Very good. So the next chapter is one... I guess I shouldn't spoil it, should I? I really do need to keep that one a big surprise for the next map, because it's the changes that I've made to that one are actually legitimately very fascinating. Some may disagree with the changes, but I think that they're very fun. Like I said, I'm mostly just playing this for my own personal fun, so at the end of the day, as long as we've achieved that, I'm more than happy. And it's not going to take as long as it usually does. If you've watched me in the past, you might know that I like to go into that map and grind Ross up to level 10, but I have a different thing in mind this time. Very different indeed. Okay, so you two can get hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Up to here is where you can go. Is Garcia relatively likely to get hit? Probably not. If I heal up Vanessa, she's still the preferred damage target. So we'll go right here with you, heal up with Molder. Like I said, we kind of just have to dodge crits in the early game. If we do have moments of speed up where we have to get back to where we were, I will, as a matter of fact, speed those up in post-production. So you don't have to worry about sticking in one place for too long if you're watching. Similarly, if I'm going to be grinding supports at any point, okay, I still want Garcia right here. I think the combination of this for 7 damage, I gotta not get crit there essentially, but you're not going to come around and attack me, so we'll go right here. If we are support grinding or grinding to any capacity, I will put it on screen, just sped up, so you can see whatever level ups and support ranks I go ahead and go for, because I do want everything to be visibly shown. I don't want to have to cut anything out, unless it's something like expressly boring. I don't really know what that would be at the moment, but we'll see. We will indeed see what happens. It's a lot easier, I've found, that I show it so that you guys can see what level ups I get, and so you can kind of mentally picture together. Okay. Mentally picture together what kind of... Okay, Vanessa, you go. What kind of stats I'm working with, and so that I can, you know, properly show my strats and show what I'm doing in a sense. I haven't increased the player growth rates at all. That's one thing I did briefly consider, but I figured that kind of defeats the point, and it kind of doesn't fit in with the Fanged experience, because obviously The pun was intentional. I'm going for a game that's got some bite to it. I want to be expressly challenged by this particular playthrough. I want to be in situations where I feel like I'm just throwing my head back and I'm like, oh, I can't beat this, because then, if I can, it just feels all that more rewarding. Okay, so we're gonna go with a little bit of hand axe stuff here. I'm really hoping, of course, that we can manage. Whatever we get really is good, because Franz and Erica can finish this guy off. It's just ideal in a sense that I don't make them do that, because Franz can get killed, and then Erica, she needs a little bit of damage. So we're gonna hope that at least one of these hand axe users hits. Okay, cool. Great way to finish it. Fantastic way right there to stop. These episodes are going to get progressively longer. This first one's going to be relatively short. Skill res. Interesting. Res on Garcia is not bad at all. I can actually drop Erica on that, so she could have that kill. Maybe I'll go for that. I will, as a matter of fact, go for that. I do want Erica to have some experience as well. It's more important for her than it is for Seth, because he's getting boss experience. Just don't get crit lol. That's all that we're hoping for. If she does, then it was all for naught. She actually got hit. Crazy. Okay, she got the crit. We were that close. We were that close to dying. Of course, she did have the rapier. I did mean to swap that off, incidentally. Speed luck. Okay. This is a playthrough in which cap speed is actually pretty good. It's kind of meaningful in a sense. Saving my son, I owe you my thanks. Yes, indeed. Well, we've done our very best here today in Chapter 2, The Protected. Like I said, I would like to go for another one. We have been playing at a relatively quick speed, but I find that an early or a fast first episode is a good way to allow everyone to absorb the information, because I know it's been fast-paced. But all that aside, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You don't want to miss this series or Dream of 5 or any of the streams or any of the other content that's coming up in this year of the Afolo. Like I said, we are shifting back full force to daily uploads every single day. That includes streams, by the way. I'm not uploading and streaming on Saturdays. You just get one video that day. But regardless of that, please do make sure to subscribe. It will help me out a lot. Like the video if you haven't already. You'd be surprised at how much traction that helps give. And share the video if you feel the desire to, so that more people can see this series, other series, and so on and so forth. I've got a lot of stuff planned for this year, so do feel free to stick around for the ride. It's the year of the Afolo, after all. Got to enjoy it. Is there anything else? I guess also make sure to become a channel member if you haven't already, because you'll be getting every single episode that I upload as soon as it's uploaded. That's the way that I do those channel member thingies. So you can sometimes enjoy pieces of series, sometimes entire weeks out from when they would have been posted previously. Those of you who are channel members right now, I will flash you up on the screen right here as my thanks. Those of you who are here at the time of reckoning, so to say, back when I got my drive kicked into overdrive. So thank you very much for being here. And, you know, like I said, feel free to join if you haven't already. I'll quit rambling. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.